You think your job pays you $30 an hour? Cool. Now let's subtract the stuff you only pay for because you have a job. The extra car you used to get to work, the gas to fill it, the parking, the work clothes, the dry cleaning, the takeout lunches, the coffees to stay awake, the drinks after work to forget, the physio due to RSI for whatever task you're doing at work. Still think you make $30 an hour? Oh, it's probably like $17, if that. Let's break it all down. Because your job doesn't just cost time, it costs you money, health, freedom, and energy and joy. Let's take a very average job, $60,000 salary. You think, all right, not bad. That's about $30 an hour, 40 hours a week. But wait, you also commute 1 hour each way. That's 10 hours a week. You get ready 1 hour a day, 5 hours a week. You wind down after work, another 5 hours a week. You think about quitting, but don't. This is the constant mental tax. Now you're spending 60 to 70 hours a week for that paycheck, which brings your real hourly rate down to closer to $17 an hour. Still not awful, right? Cool, let's subtract the hidden costs. Let's say you drive 40 kilometers round trip 5 days a week. Your gas, 60. Maintenance, 15. Insurance, 25. Parking, $10 a day or another 50 a week. That's a total of $150 a week or 7,800 a year. That's 13% of your salary just to get to work. How about the work clothes? Even if you're not in full business drag, you're probably spending at least $400 a year on clothes, $200 a year on dry cleaning or shoes, etc. What about food? You want a meal prep, but then life happens. Let's say $10 lunch 3 days a week. You meal prep some days. $5 coffee by 4 days of the week. $20. Screw it. Uber eats on late work nights. That's another 30 a week. How about that? $80 a week, another 4,000 a year. How about your mental health? Stress has a price. Missed sleep equals lost productivity. Emotional eating equals higher food costs. You burn out, treat yourself, spending therapy, another 2,880 a year. How about vacations? People need to travel, you need to go on vacations, but people spend more on vacations just to escape jobs they hate. They tend to go at more expensive times and spend more while they're away because they're on vacation. 3,000 to feel alive again isn't a vacation, it's a reaction to captivity. Let's add all this up. You're commuting, 7,800. Clothes, 600. Food and drinks, 4 grand. Mental health, 2,880. Your coping vacation, 3 grand. And how about random extras, another 1,000, such as the gym you don't use, subscriptions you don't use, or Uber rides that you could have just walked. Total annual cost of your job, 19,000. So your 60K salary, actually closer to 41K take-home life value. That's about $17 an hour before tax. Take out your income tax, insurance, pension, and the fact that you cried in your car on Tuesday and you're making about minimum wage with a diploma. Why does nobody tell you this? Because if you actually sat down and ran these numbers, you'd realize how many hours it actually costs to buy that shit you don't need. You would adapt. Start building a life where you don't need to earn so much because you've stopped lighting money on fire just to work. You work all day to earn money to afford the life you're too busy to live. This is the FIRE alternative. FIRE isn't about being rich, it's about efficiency. You spend less, invest the difference, cut out the bullshit costs that only exist because of your job. Stop pretending a higher salary fixes the problem. It just makes the hamster wheel shinier. When you don't work 9 to 5, you can cook more, commute less, travel off peak, shop smarter, stress less. You can walk. You don't need to treat yourself constantly because you're not always recovering from mental whiplash. So here's the question. What are you really working for? The money or the illusion that money is freedom? Because if your job costs you most of your money, time, and sanity, then you're not working for freedom. You're working to stay afloat. Start doing the real math. Look at what your job actually pays you after everything it takes away. Then decide if it's worth it or if you want out. And if you do want out, that's what this channel's for. Smash subscribe, or don't. But next time you go to work, ask yourself, am I getting paid enough to give up my life for this? Because if the answer is no, then you're ready for the next video.